My people, before we get started with the next day of Mythic Master Rogue, I just wanted to take a moment to tell everyone watching right now, thank you. I'm going to roll a d7 to determine which type of event will be occurring today in Mythic Master Rogue. Let's get started. Seven. Honing skills. This is actually ideal.
With the first rays of dawn piercing the worn tavern walls, you, the journeyman, awaken from a restless slumber. Rolling up your bedroll with practiced efficiency, you grasp your formidable sword with one hand and prop it up on your shoulder. A subtle tension prickling in your wrist catches your attention. It seems all the sitting and planning has rendered you a bit rusty.
The honing skill event is an opportunity for my character to use one of my specific skills in a way that highlights and displays that skill. I'm going to roll an adventure using the Mythic Adventure Crafter. And this adventure is going to revolve around one of my skills. And is going to require me to make use of this skill. And this is so that when I roll these honing skill events, it is made clear as to what my character's specialty is, and my character is doing what they specialize in. So I have no control over the circumstances or the context of the event that I'm getting involved with. And I'm going to roll which skill of mine is the one that is the focus that I'm going to have to use the most. But the context is going to be somewhat related to that skill. So I'm going to roll the skill first of my 3 specialty skills to determine which one is going to be the topic. Then I'm going to roll the adventure, which will require me to roll a couple plot points, and we'll do that as well. So my 3 skills, my exceptional rank skill is longsword combat. My high rank skill is enforce law. And then my above average skill is my manifestation. And we're going to go ahead and see which of these skills will be getting put to the test this episode. Here's a D3. One. And I do believe that is longsword combat. So in this episode, I'm going to be displaying and utilizing honing my longsword combat expertise. So might get some action here.
You pull the blade back off your shoulder, your gaze transfixed upon the weapon that has been your loyal companion through countless trials. As the morning light dances across its polished surface, you find yourself entranced by the intricate craftsmanship and undeniable power it exudes. Your weapon's razor edge motivates you to stay just as sharp.
I'm going to generate a plot point for my character that's going to kick off today's event. One thing I do know is that this is going to require my sword combat. So the next thing I need to figure out is the theme of this event. Personal. Okay. personal. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to roll a D100 to determine what type of personal what type of personal situation is going on. I do know it's going to involve sword combat because that's the skill that's going to be getting displayed during this event. I'm going to go ahead and roll a D100. I'm going to roll a couple D100s. 1, 2, 3. 65, 8, 39. Observer. Conclusion. Enemies. I'm going to interpret this as I am training. And not only am I training, but I'm sparring and or teaching. So depending on, I'm going to roll some characters. Okay, this is personal, so it involves, the focus is me, right? And I'm honing my skill. Am I teaching someone to prepare for our enemy? I must be, because I'm observing, right? So I'm going to, and I could be partaking, I could be sparring and watching how they do, or I could be watching others and giving them pointers. I'm going to roll 1d3 because if I roll 2, that means I'm training 2 other people. If I roll 3, I'm training 3 other people. If I roll 1, I'm sparring with 1 person. And that's what the conclusion is we, you know, the conclusion is we are going to feel ready. We are going to feel ready if this goes as planned. And by enemies, I'm interpreting that as we are preparing to face the enemy, the hatred imbued Livingstone, since that is our main priority, and that makes the most sense. I'm gonna go ahead and roll. Actually, I'm gonna roll a D3. Let's figure out how many people I'm involving in this. Usually, I could have just kept this with just myself, but because I rolled observer, I feel like I'm potentially training and someone else is involved in this. So I'm going to go ahead and roll a D3. 1 other person. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and roll on our character roster list. 3. Who is number 3?
You pull out a chair beside the brawny, humble leper knight Artorias and, amid conversation, casually inquire about the last time he had the opportunity to fight in his imposing, heavy armor. With a thoughtful expression, he reflects on the passing time, acknowledging that it has indeed been a while since he last fought donning the weighty protection. Curiosity gleams in your eyes as you propose an idea, a hint of competitiveness dancing on your lips. You request his assistance, suggesting a light morning training session through a friendly sparring match. The words hang in the air, anticipation building as you await Artorias' response, eager to test your skills against the seasoned warrior and learn from his formidable expertise.
I'm going to simulate 3 rounds of combat between me and Artorias. I'm going to declare what my action is and what I'm going to be doing. And then I'm going to roll a combat action for Artorias and interpret the result to figure out what he's doing. Now, if it comes to attacking, you know, he doesn't necessarily have a attacking skill, but he is a knight. By default, we know he's using his weapon. And by default, any related skill that he has is going to be considered average since it's not in his top 3. His related skills, he's just an average knight because he didn't specify that X skill is exceptional, high, or above average. So we'll assume that his combat skill is going to be that of an average knight. However, he does have he did call out that one of his skills is block. So he will rely on the block skill if that is something I'm interpreting. if that's something I'm interpreting from his character combat action. And I'm going to do 3 rounds of this, with obviously the winner going to the winner of 2 of 3. Is Artorias using a sword? That's something I need to know. What kind of weapon is Artorias using? Is Artorias using a sword? I'm gonna say likely. No. Is he using a mace? Very likely. Yes. Okay, and he's definitely using a shield, right? Very near certain. Yes. Okay, mace and shield. Good day, Artorias. I'm not going to take it easy on you.
I wouldn't have it any other way, Journeyman. Let us push each other to our limits and hone our skills in preparation for the battle ahead. Our duty to protect the innocent demands nothing less than our absolute best.
I'm hoping I can learn a few things, and I'm hoping you can learn a few things.
Of course. We can always learn something new from each other, regardless of skill level. As knights, we must remain open to growth and always strive to improve ourselves.
Why do you prefer to use a mace over a sword?
My preference for the mace over the sword is not a matter of personal taste or convenience. It is a strategic choice based on the nature of our enemy. The supernatural evil we face is immune to bladed weapons, rendering swords useless in battle. The mace, however, with its blunt force, can still inflict damage and incapacitate our foe. This knowledge only strengthens my resolve to train as hard as possible and be prepared for any situation that may arise.
This is true. But when you swing a blade like I do, a little rock is not going to stop it.
Yes, it is true. As knights, we must always put the needs of others before ourselves and remain steadfast in the pursuit of justice. We must be unyielding in the defense of the innocent and unwavering in the face of darkness. Our training is not just about mastering techniques, but also cultivating a sense of honor and integrity that guides us in all we do. The upcoming battle may be daunting, but I have faith that with diligence and dedication, we will emerge victorious. Journeyman, I understand that you have your own style of fighting, and there is no one correct way to wield a blade. However, as a knight, it is our duty to consider the bigger picture and adapt our tactics to best serve the greater good. Blindly clinging to personal preferences or habits puts oneself and those we protect at risk. We cannot afford such arrogance when lives are on the line. We must not underestimate the power of the hatred-imbued living stone. It is not just any ordinary rock. Its malevolent energy imbues it with supernatural strength and durability, making it an incredibly formidable foe. Our preparations must reflect this reality, and we must be ready to fight with all of our might. We owe it to ourselves and the people we are sworn to defend.
What is it that you hope to improve in this sparring session?
I hope to improve my footwork and reaction time, Journeyman. While I have confidence in my abilities, I know that there is always room for improvement. An enemy like the living stone can strike from unexpected angles and catch us off guard. By training with a skilled partner like you, I can develop a greater sense of agility and adaptability in combat. It is through dedicated practice that we can become the best versions of ourselves and serve as true protectors of the innocent.
Artorias nods in acceptance, and you both shake hands before stepping outside of Genevieve's tavern. The serene ambiance of a small clearing awaits, offering a stunning view of the desolate master plane in the distance. In this tranquil setting, you fully immerse yourselves in the pursuit of growth and improvement. Time becomes irrelevant as you prepare to exchange blows, driven by the shared desire to hone your skills.
For this first phase of the clash, I am going to, because I have range on him, I am going to, in a cool manner, I'm going to strafe and circle around him with my sword out. During the first phase of the clash, I'm going to attack from the outside, is what I'm going to do. And what is he going to do? Meaning tables, combat action, fight, energetic. So I think I'm going to interpret that as from the jump, he is going to be offensive. He's going to be offensive, and probably try to close the gap.
Artorias, a colossus of fortitude, assumes a defensive combat stance, his unwavering gaze piercing through the gloom. Fixated upon your form, his weighty shield, an impenetrable bulwark, rests ominously at his side. Defying your expectations, a surge of surprising celerity propels Artorias forward, closing the divide with you. His offense woven seamlessly into his steadfast defense. This wall is approaching you.
With my sword skill of exceptional rank versus his above average skill of block, because I do think that obviously he's going to attempt to block and, counter attack while closing the gap. It's going to be my exceptional versus his above average. Acting rank exceptional versus above average. So it's anything under a 75 is a yes. Anything under a 75 is a yes. Is there anything I think should modify this? Nothing comes to mind. '84.
With the grace of a dancer, you move lithely around the perimeter of your opponent, Artorias. Your every strike is delivered with lightning speed and unwavering precision, each movement an embodiment of swift and powerful accuracy. However, to your astonishment, every attempt is met with an unyielding force, as Artorias expertly deflects your blows with his shield. His defense is unparalleled. His skill is so uncanny that he effortlessly turns aside your strikes without even needing to glance in your direction. The sound of your weapon meeting his shield echoes through the clearing. Undeterred by this seemingly impenetrable defense, you gather your focus, your determination burning brighter with each deflected strike. Like a whirlwind, you press on, your movements blending fluidly from one attack to the next, searching for any opening that may present itself.
Let's roll description to get an idea of what exactly he does that bests me in our first clash. Mildly creepy. I'm going to interpret that as it's almost unsettling at how well he was able to parry my attack. And how well it was. It was almost unexpected. It was almost unexpected. It was like, oh, this dude's kind of scary. Like scary defensive is how I'm going to interpret that.
In the heat of the sparring match, you spot an opening and leap upward, winding back a devastating chop. However, Artorias swiftly blocks, locking your blade within the crevices of his steel mask. You lock glances for a moment, time seemingly frozen. Artorias' eerie facade leaves you wondering if what lied beyond that mask was even human. With a powerful neck whip, he tugs you inward, sending you colliding into his shoulder pauldron, sending you sliding backward a good ways, off balance.
Because he won that first clash, and I've been injured and attacked, I will now suffer a rank shift penalty on all subsequent phases. So I'll have to keep that in mind. Okay, part 2, phase 2 of this clash. I'm going to turn it up a bit because I have to tie this up, and I'm going to use my longsword combat to I'm going to try to take the legs out from under him and start going for some sweeping slashes. While still trying to kind of keep a distance, mid-range distance. What is he going to do? Rolling combat action. Simple / abuse. He's going to take advantage. He's going to abuse his size and his armor. You know, he's he's heavily armored. He's going to abuse it, take a very simple defensive approach. And with that said, I'm going to actually increase his rank shift of block. I'm going to give him a +1 rank modifier, taking him from above average to high, since what I'm interpreting from his action is he's focusing on defense, sort of hunkering down is how I'm going to interpret that. This time it's going to be my high sword combat versus his high blocking skill. So that's going to be anything under 50 is a yes. Am I able to successfully land some sweeping blows, specifically toward his legs to take him off of his feet? That might be an exceptional yes. No, but it is a yes. I turn it up a bit and I perform a very, very stylish, cool, sweeping slash with my very large long sword.
You continue your relentless assault of chopping strikes, clashing with Artorias' expert parries, his unyielding stance unshaken as he hunkers down, feet planted. Yet, with a calculated feint, you swiftly roll to his blind side, executing a graceful, spinning slash. Your longsword sweeps across the back of his legs like a violent crescent, forcing him into a spiraling descent, resulting in a loud crash that resonates throughout the clearing. Silence falls, and only your shoulder cape can be heard flapping in the wind, generated by Artorias' collapse.
And I'm gonna let him up. That was just my tag. That was just my tag back. So there will be no follow-up. I'm gonna let him up for the sake of sport and training. I'm also gonna say something. I'm gonna say something along the lines of the harder they fall. I'm gonna say something like, the heavier they are, the harder they fall. I'm just gonna quote half of that common phrase of the larger they are, the harder they fall.
With a triumphant gleam in your eyes, you extend your hand towards Artorias, a gesture of sportsmanship and respect. A sly grin plays on your lips as you offer a clever and competitive remark, teasingly alluding to the outcome of his fall. "Ah, Artorias," you jest. "They say the heavier they are, the more satisfying the fall. Though I must admit, I expected a bit more resistance from one of your caliber. Your playful banter carries a hint of friendly rivalry, the camaraderie of warriors, tested and strengthened through training."
What does he say anything back? Now, his personality, he is strong, diligent, and humble. He's humble. So, what does Artorias say back? I'm gonna roll conversation. Careless / interesting. He essentially says something along the lines of, he was careless. He made a wrong. He perceived the wrong. He made a wrong move, and that maybe because he's humble, he compliments my stylish my stylish flourish.
As Artorias accepts your outstretched hand, his demeanor softens, a subtle grin likely forming on his lips. With a humble yet playful tone, he delivers a clever retort that reveals a critical self-assessment. "Ah, my worthy rival," he admits. "I must concede that my own lapse in caution contributed to that unexpected descent. Your agile maneuver took me by surprise, leaving me in awe of your grace. It seems there's much I can learn from your finesse. Consider me intrigued and eager to discover the secrets behind your stylish technique." His words carry a genuine admiration, blending camaraderie with the competitive edge that fuels your dynamic relationship.
Something along the lines of that. All right. Now, I want you all to not look at this as we just attacked each other 3 times, because we're about to do our third one. But I want you to more so look at this as this is a whole combat that's happening. And the gist of it these 3 phases, these 3 clashes are more so the gist, the highlights, the makeup of this sparring that we're having. So it's look at it as there's more of this happening. This is more so just a summary, and we're going to get ChatGPT to flesh out and expand more of the action pieces. And this is how combat will be handled, going forward until I make some tweaks. But in my head, we're having a whole combat, but this is just more so a simulation of that, and we're going to let ChatGPT flesh it on the back end. So as you're watching this, you're hearing and seeing more as I'm playing, and if you're playing as a solo role player, what really matters are the dice results, and then you use your imagination to create that scene, because at the end of the day, this is your game. And you know what your mind's eye is seeing. So, mind you just rolled 3 times, but a whole epic battle had just happened in your head. And that's all that really matters, since you're the one chronicling and journaling your own experience. You know what happened. You don't have to roll everything. You just need to know the gist and the structure and the building block of the encounter. So here we go. Here we go for the third one. I'm going to use more finesse with my longsword. I'm very finesse with my longsword, which is why I made that my best skill, because I am inspired by characters such as Sephiroth. I'm actually going to use more finesse with my blade and do something I haven't done yet. I'm going to mix it up, something that I've had up my sleeve. I'm going to go with a really tricky attack that's actually going to involve slashing in the air, like from the air. Like a spinning slash while lunging towards him from the air. Yeah, something cool like that. An aerial attack. And he now has a penalty. So he's down 1. I'm down 1. What does he do? I'm going to go ahead and roll combat action. Lie/loyal. He is dedicated to his defensive style of combat. He's loyal and dedicated to his own style. He's not going to switch things up and change things up because of what I'm doing. He's going to hold true and stick to the script. He's going to remain loyal to his plan and lie there defensively to counter me. He's waiting for the ultimate counter. So he's going to use his block skill of above average, which is now average because he's taking a penalty. I'm going to be using my longsword skill of exceptional, which is now high. High versus average. I've lost with worse odds. I've lost with better odds than I have now. So it can go either way. Okay, so let's see. My high versus his average. Anything under 75. Anything under 75.
With resolve, you plunge your sword into the ground, propelling yourself into the air. Soaring above Artorias, your great sword poised over your head as you descend towards him. A stoic Artorias stands ready, feet locked in place, shield brandished firmly, for he has laid a trap, and the clash of steel awaits. As you plummet towards your opponent with astonishing speed, a violent spin propels you into a spiraling blur of razor-sharp force. The thunderous collision resounds as your blade smashes into Artorias' shield and mace, threatening to sunder both. Overwhelmed by the impact, Artorias is forced to his knees, depleted and disoriented, unable to regain his footing.
So the goal is to learn from that. You know what I mean? The goal is to see if there's anything that we can improve on, and I'm going to say that we most likely did learn better ways to use our. We sharpened our combat prowess. And I'm going to say that between the both of us, we both will get a bonus. I'm going to say we'll both get a bonus to, we'll both get a +1 rank shift bonus. Let me write this down. With our combat, anything that involves combat, with our weapons, when we do face this creature, I want to simulate what it is that we learned from each other in our combat, based off of how it happened, and we'll have ChatGPT flesh that out. But we did learn a lot. And in fact, I would like to think that actually brought us closer. I don't even think I need to roll for that. Just because of the type of characters we are, we have a good relationship. And it's funny that I even rolled him, because I'm noticing that we have had a lot of interaction so far. So I think Artorias is becoming like one of my closest comrades out of all the rogues so far.
As you drop your sword and extend a helping hand to Artorias, a sense of camaraderie envelops you both. You exchange objective assessments of your sparring match. With a playful smile, you highlight the near impenetrability of Artorias' shield under your futile assault, while he acknowledges your agility and suggests taking up sword dropping as a tactic. Laughter fills the air as you share light-hearted banter before delving into constructive feedback, offering advice, and acknowledging each other's strengths and areas for improvement. The conversation blends competitiveness with genuine admiration, forging a bond and leaving you both invigorated, armed with valuable insights gained from this shared experience on the path to mastery.
You're a very defensive warrior, very skilled, and I couldn't believe at how well you were able to block and defend yourself. What can you teach me about that?
Defense is not just about blocking or parrying attacks. Journeyman. It's about being aware of your surroundings, anticipating your opponent's moves, and positioning yourself to minimize the impact of their strikes. The key is to remain calm and focused under pressure, trusting your instincts and reflexes to guide you. As knights, we must cultivate a strong mind and body to be able to withstand any challenge that comes our way. With enough dedication and hard work, anyone can master the art of defense.
I was very impressed by how poised you were. Any advice?
Poise is not something that can be taught. Journeyman. It is the result of years of discipline, training, and unwavering commitment to one's principles. It is the knowledge that you have done everything in your power to prepare for whatever challenges may come your way. For me, it is my duty as a knight to be poised at all times. To show fear or hesitation in the face of danger would be an insult to those who rely on my protection.
I'm honored to have you at my side when we face off against this thing.
The honor is mine, journeyman. Together we can stand against the darkness and defend the innocent. It is our calling as knights to uphold the values of chivalry and protect all who are in need. With you by my side, there is no challenge we cannot overcome. Let us train hard, fight with valor, and emerge victorious.
Drinks on me tonight.
Thank you for the offer. But my duty as a knight is to remain focused and disciplined at all times. Celebrating before the battle is won could lead to complacency and ultimately endanger those we are sworn to protect. We must remain vigilant and dedicated in all we do, even in the face of temptation or distraction. It is through unwavering commitment that we can achieve greatness and serve as beacons of hope for all who look up to us as examples of righteousness and integrity.
That's exactly what I was saying the other night, but you decided to buy drinks for everybody.
I apologize if I gave you the wrong impression. Journeyman, as a leper knight who serves the poor, I take my duty seriously and strive to be an example of honor and discipline at all times. I assure you, however, my focus remains on the upcoming challenge we will be facing. Celebration can wait until after our victory is secured.
I'm hoping that your diligence and focus rubs off on the others.
That is my hope as well. Journeyman, we must lead by example and inspire others to embody the ideals of chivalry and justice. The fate of innocent lives rests on us, and we cannot afford to falter or lose sight of what truly matters. It is through unwavering dedication and commitment that we can emerge victorious, not just in battle but in life as well. Let us show the world what it means to be true knights, guided by principles of righteousness, compassion and selflessness.
As the day draws to a close, you carefully lay your blade beside your unfurled bedroll, a testament to the trials and exertions you have endured. Your muscles still ablaze with the remnants of today's intense activities. You find solace in the weariness that permeates your body. With a quiet confidence, you rest your head, knowing that while there may come a time when you are but a mere echo of your former self, that day is not today.